So, now, before I freak out, I have 3 questions I'm going to ask, and me and you are going to answer together. 3 questions. Number 1, what was the point of the incest? Number 2, what was the point of Kana's whole character arc? Number 3, what was the point of Hikaru? Well, we already know what the point of Hikaru is. So, throughout this video, I'm not going to be calling Hikaru by his name. I'm going to be calling Hikaru Playboy Cardi, because that's what he is. I'll explain. He shows up, and he's just dripped the fuck out, right? And he thinks he has an aura to him. He pulls up. He says no. He acts like he's gonna do something all the time, but he never does. And it's just a continuous cycle over and over. So Hikaru is gonna be called Playboy Cardi for the rest of this video, because after the way his character was handled, that's exactly what he reminds me of. Anyways, first question. What was the point of the incest? Incest was the whole reason I got into this story. And looking back on the incest now, I have a theory. I have a theory that the whole point of the incest was literally just to drive up the sales. And you could say, "Oh, Aaron," and if you would have told me this, and if you would have told me that a few months ago, I would have argued with you heavy. But now that I'm looking at it, I would say the incest was literally just to drive up sales. Because the incest in this series has always been there. It's always been there. From the very first couple chapters, it's always been there. And it didn't really come out until chapter 123 and 124. That was when I got into the series. And you could trust me, I would have never gotten into this series if it wasn't for those 2 chapters happening. Never. Like, 2024 has to go down in some sort of history. Every major manga has a shitty ending. By the way, this has topped My Hero Academia. Like, Deku, he could be a 26-year-old virgin. I'm cool with that. But this ending felt like a complete waste of fucking time. Got the hiccups. Another manga that completely killed any rereadability with this ending. This is literally another domestic girlfriend. But the ending is not as bad as Domestic Girlfriend. It's actually worse. I wouldn't say the story is as bad as Domestic Girlfriends. What was the point of it? If you're not gonna do a goddamn thing with the incest, don't introduce it. Or don't make it as serious as it's made out to be. For example, Aya sometimes communicates her feelings in Russia. Look at the incest in that manga. It's there, but it's a joke. It'll never happen. It's just a joke. Because the brother and sister are otakus. Yuki and fucking Masachika. They're otakus, and that's the way they live. With that cringy-ass otaku fantasy. And what bothers me is how fine, like, Ruby was with Aqua dying. And you could say, "Oh, Aaron, she broke down." Yeah, but no. It's shocking to me how she didn't commit suicide. That's what's really shocking to me. Because she thought she lost this guy, and he's back in her life, and she lost him again. You know? But somehow in the end, she's completely content with it. And listen, people have been asking me in my comments, Aaron, when's the next Oshinoko video? Because these last few chapters were leaking all over TikTok. I scrolled as fast as I could. I thought, you want to know what I thought personally? I thought that it was going to be Hikaru in the casket. And Aqua was still going to be alive, and that was a fake out. And everybody said it. Everybody said if this is how Aqua dies, he will be the dumbest fuck in manga history. And I completely agree with him. What an idiot he is. A stupid retard. I hate that whole idea of, in order for her to be safe, I gotta die. No, you could be alive and protect her longer, you fucking clown. Anyways, the next major point. What was the whole point of Kana's character? Let's talk about it. What was the point? What was the point of that whole... I'm gonna be your star, Aqua-kun. Oh my god. What was the point of that one chapter? You remember that one chapter where Aqua was talking to Goro in his mind? And Goro was like, oh, you're in love with Kana, aren't you? And Aqua was like, what are you talking about? What was the point of that? If nothing's gonna get out of it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like Kana. I'm so glad she didn't get a happy ending. I'm so glad she didn't get her happy ending. Because if Ruby doesn't get her happy ending, you don't deserve it either. I don't like Kana. I think she's so stuck up, and stuck up people don't deserve happy endings. She completely deserved what happened to her. But even though I don't like her character, it makes me ask, what was the point of every bit of that? And listen, a lot of you are going to be like, Aaron, you just mad because Aqua died. Aqua's death was predetermined when this story when he went dark. Like, everybody knew Aqua was going to die. Everybody knew that. Like, that's why I didn't cry when I read that chapter today. I didn't. I just said, oh wow. It wasn't like, oh my god, that's how it ended. It was like, oh, well, I can't believe they ended it like that. Oh, this is another top 5 of my worst manga endings. I mean, think about it this year. My Hero Academia. I got another video on that ending coming soon. My Hero Academia. Oshinoko. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Jujutsu Kaisen. That's debatable. Oh, and another thing I wanted to talk about. Of course, I'm on Reddit, and I see people talking about some... Akane and Aqua had sex, and she's pregnant with Aqua's child. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. What are we doing here? What are we really doing? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, really? And of course, there's that whole, ooh, what if Oshinoko gets a part 2? And guess what? Aqua is reincarnated as... Aqua is reincarnated as Akane's child. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. What are we doing here? What are we doing, really, in our lives? So what? Oshinoko Part 2. Aqua is reborn as Aqua and Akane's child. Comes back. Ruby, I am back. Give me your... what did uh Will Ferrell say in Step Brothers? I have traveled miles to give you my seed. What, he's just going to come? Like, listen, I'm not even a fan of reincarnated series. I think I don't like a lot of them. Only one I can kind of get behind is Mushoku Tensei. But like Aqua getting reincarnated like that, like that'll be 3 times. And what, he's just gonna go find Ruby, and instead of an incest story, well, it would still be incest story because Ruby would be his aunt. So what? Ruby's just gonna start dating her nephew. Like I can't do this. That was kind of a point added on. Let's get to the last one. Playboy Cardi's character. In other words, Hikaru. Now, what was the point of Playboy Cardi's character? What, just to have aura or have some... Like, this guy did nothing. He showed up, talked, and it was just a background character. Oh, he killed AI. Okay, and he did nothing after that. He did nothing after that. But just walk around with his hands in his pockets thinking he has aura. What's the point? I will say this. Just like I don't think JJK needs a part 2, Oshinoko, you shit the bed. You don't deserve a part 2. And the author, for you introducing the incest and getting me into this story, because, like, I got in Oshinoko, like, a week after that chapter came out. Literally, if you're watching my channel right now and you're thinking I'm just some bitter guy, go watch my Oshinoko chapter 140 something review. I can't remember the exact chapter, but it's the chapter when Aqua and Ruby kissed. Go to that video and watch how much praise I gave that author. Now, the author, I hope you get fucking Lou Gehrig's disease. You don't deserve to have a pen in your hand again. You've made a cringe character like Kana. You've introduced incest and got me invested in a ship only for nothing to pay off of it. Ruby is just somehow okay with it. What, she had a breakdown. I remember when this series had 5 chapters announced. Which, that makes me kind of think that Oshinoko might get a part 2. And that Aqua will come back as Aqua Nakane's child. But I remember when people were saying, at least the author gets to end the manga on their own terms. How do you get to end the manga on your own terms and still shit the bed? You know what? I'm just stressed. Like, all these shitty endings, one after another, after another, after another. They keep piling on my mental. And Chainsaw Man had a shitty chapter yesterday, and I'm just so bitter right now. But anyways, guys, that's it. Take care.